The question is not why does Justin Trudeau suddenly not love his country, because the question is ridiculous. I live this country in my bones every breath I take.
With this clip resurfacing of Justin Trudeau, it's amazing to see how hypocritical this man is. What's also amazing to see is Justin Trudeau uses a hammer for the first time in his life, most likely, in this video. You're not going to want to miss this. So let's jump into the first clip here. Justin Trudeau is in Calgary today, and he's stirring stuff up as he's giving this housing accelerator money away, but he's bypassing Danielle Smith and just giving it to municipalities instead. Obviously, that's a good way to piss someone off. This clip that Andrew Scheer shared is so funny. Check this out.
A few years ago, I was in Hamilton in a classic steel plant, and I was meeting some of those overall folks who were proud to say that they were third and even fourth generation steel workers in Hamilton. A few years ago.
Overall, folks. What are those folks called again?
So, I was in Hamilton.
The reaction of these people's faces.
And I was meeting some of those overall folks who were proud to say that they were third and even fourth generation steel workers in.
He's such an idiot. He's such an idiot. Let's go to the next clip here from the same event here. I want to point out just a couple quick clips here.
Really got the federal government back into being part of the housing challenges in this country. Previous governments had reduced and even almost completely eliminated any role for the federal government in housing, and that is something that contributed to the kinds of pressures that we're facing right now. There's lots of factors that went into it. The pandemic certainly changed behaviors in housing. The growing population in Canada put more.
This guy's blaming Stephen Harper for the housing problems now. You gotta be kidding me. It's ironic because Pierre Poilievre posted something today which fits perfectly with this. Let's check that out.
Today, we're announcing that upcoming Budget 2024 will invest in a new initiative we're calling Canada Builds. Canada Builds. And I'll be blunt as well. Housing isn't a primary federal responsibility. Housing isn't a primary federal responsibility.
What is going on his head here? What is going on with this guy? This is only a year ago. I remember when he said that, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. From this same event, I've got another clip here.
We're not now up in the upper 400,000 PRs a year. We're on our way to 500,000 a year. We'll stabilize. That, for a country of 40 million people, of our size, of our capacity to integrate people, is exactly the right and reasonable level for us. It'll make sure we keep bringing in people so our communities can grow, so we can have those people to fill the jobs that we need. That's not the challenge we're facing right now.
Yeah, he just goes on to blame temporary foreign workers. We don't listen to that. This guy's an idiot. He's causing the housing price spike. He's causing the problems in Canada, and he just doesn't admit to it. He's obviously doing this for a reason, and the only reason is money. He's a greedy, greedy thief. So let's move on here. We've got a clip of Doug Ford ripping Trudeau again. This is number 3. 3 for 3 for Doug Ford.
Earlier today, you wrote a letter to Prime Minister Trudeau calling for a First Minister's meeting over the carbon tax.
So before we get to the rest of this clip here, let's just jump out for 1 second. I'll show you guys that letter, and I will put it on the screen here, and you guys can pause it if you want to read it. Yeah, he wrote a letter to Justin Trudeau basically saying your carbon tax sucks. It's destroying the economy, and there's 2 pages there. And there's a second page. I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but you'll get the gist of it with what he says here.
You've been very vocal in your opposition to the federal carbon tax.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering where that outrage comes from, considering your government's decision to get rid of cap and trade in 2018 effectively signed Ontario up for the federal backstop.
Well, you just have to talk to the people. It's driving up the cost. You're driving around, going and fill up your gas. It's $1.61 or $1.60. Thunder Bay was at almost $1.70. It drives up the cost of absolutely everything. Drives up the cost of groceries. Drives up the cost of picking up your child from daycare, for example. Driving home, and we're trying to fight inflation, and we're trying to convince the Bank of Canada to lower the rate. Which they haven't, and all of a sudden you have the federal government jacking up inflation through the carbon tax. It's unacceptable. It really is. And they're taking more money in than they're giving back. This is a no-brainer. The number one issue out there is affordable homes, affordable groceries, affordable fuel, and it makes companies uncompetitive. So as you saw the numbers of employment, it went up again, which is great. We created 26,000 jobs, or should I say we created the condition for 26,000 jobs again this month. We're well over 700,000 more people working today than they were 5.5 years ago. So the province is pushing on one side, driving the economy. The feds are driving the inflation, and the Bank of Canada is sitting on their hands while people are going to be annihilated in a year or 2 years when they have to renew their mortgage. So they need to get their act together, lower the cost of everything across the board, and it just goes to show you that in other jurisdictions that don't have the carbon tax, the inflation rate is down. So this is a no-brainer. I just can't understand where they're going. They're hurting people, bottom line, and we need to be there to support people, not hurt them.
But you have the option to introduce an alternative system. The only reason we're susceptible to that increase to the federal carbon tax is because you scrapped cap and trade. If you go across the river to Quebec, it's a non-issue there because they have that system in place. Are you considering bringing forward an alternative?
Hold on, they should get rid of this, totally. The carbon tax drives up the cost of everything, makes our companies uncompetitive, drives up the cost of food and fuel, and everything moves by transportation. Why do we need it? See, we take a different philosophy here in Ontario, and our government takes a different philosophy. You want to reduce emissions? I agree 1,000%. You want to do everything to the environment? I agree. But you don't have to go to one extreme or the other extreme. I'll tell you what we did. We built the largest transit system in North America, and we're number one in the world for destination of building EV batteries and EV cars. We're changing over the coal furnace to electric arc furnaces in Dofasco and Algoma. That's like taking 2 million cars off the road. And when we get more people in transit, it's taking millions of cars off the road. That's what we're doing. So we're creating economic development, and we're reducing emissions more than any government in Ontario. Taxing people doesn't reduce emissions, and that's what they're doing. They're hurting the economy, they're hurting people. Unacceptable.
Yeah, well said, Doug Ford. And a few notes on there. So the interviewer asked him about the in Quebec, their pricing there. Well, if you look, they're paying $57 per ton carbon tax, and we're paying $80 per ton everywhere else in Canada. How's that fair? That's not fair. They have a significant reduction there. But the thing is, Justin Trudeau refuses to let any other province set their own rates that are lower than where we are now. So if another province wants to do higher than $80 per ton, they're allowed, but not lower, not like Quebec. So, and also the price there, Doug Ford said, was $1.71 in Thunder Bay. He said on Vancouver Island, we're $2. Vancouver is $2.07. So Trudeau can suck it. That's all I have to say. These prices are outrageous. Next up here, this is something you gotta see. This is a clip of Justin Trudeau. You can tell he looks a lot younger, long hair. This is from before he got elected and when Harper was still in power. And it is amazing, astonishing to listen to him all these years and then watch this. You can just tell how phony and fake this is. It's unreal.
The question is not why does Justin Trudeau suddenly not love his country, because the question is ridiculous. I live this country in my bones every breath I take, and I'm not going to stand here and somehow defend that I actually do love Canada, because we know I love Canada.
This guy's a thespian. Look at him. Get him on Broadway. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
The question is what's happening to our country? Why do millions of Quebecers not see themselves in this government? Why do millions of women not recognize this country? Why do millions of young people disconnect from our politics, from our world? Because they do not see the Canada that we've built over decades reflected not in the policies of this government, but in the values that this government's putting forward. This country is a country of openness, of respect, of compassion, of the rule of law, of the rights of the individuals, of freedom. Freedom from fear, freedom from crime, freedom to love who you want and not be judged for it, freedom to do what you want with your body. These freedoms are the very things that Stephen Harper and his government are trying to take away. So ask me if I'm upset at the direction he's taking this government and this country. It's not about policies.
I'm talking about opting out of that Canada. Because
I am not
opting out of that Canada.
What I am talking about is the fact that there are millions of Canadians who don't see in the direction that this government is taking, a direction that is consistent with Canada. We think back to different governments. The Progressive Conservatives under Brian Mulroney, who were not necessarily loved or beloved by many, many people. They had a vision that you could agree with or disagree with, but you believed that they believed in a bigger and a better Canada. We no longer see that with Vic Tave's disgusting internet bill today, with the references to Hitler, with the bringing down of the level of debate to where it is right now. Canadians should be outraged. Canadians shouldn't be asking, ooh, does Justin Trudeau actually want to separate? Of course not. But will Justin Trudeau fight with his very last breath to make sure that this Canada stays the Canada that we collectively know it can be? Absolutely.
What's very weird about that is the number one thing I make fun of Trudeau, the ah-ooh. Where's the ah-oohs? It's like something, a screw went loose in his head after this and he became prime minister and just the ah-oohs came out. This is wild. The fact that he's talking about the internet bill, like like what we got, Bill C-63, his internet bill, where if they even think you're going to commit a crime, the Minority Report bill, they can just put you in jail for life. Like, talk about the hypocrisy here. And I would love it if Harper was in power right now, because we wouldn't be in this this pickle we're in. We'd actually probably be pretty well off here in Canada. Yeah, this really didn't age well, did it, Trudeau? I need a new monitor now and a new window. The reporter can't even keep a straight face. The start of this is so funny.
The question is ridiculous. I live this country in my bones every breath I take, and I'm not going to stand here and somehow defend that I actually do love Canada, because we know I love Canada.
This is so dumb. Next up, we got an article here where it says private developers bid to accommodate thousands of Ukrainians in modular homes. The initial thing here, over 60 private landowners and developers have submitted proposals to build and operate modular homes for Ukrainians. The new units will house between 1,200 and 1,600 Ukrainians in modular sites. It's not a far-right narrative causing division. It's the government and the greedy landlords and developers. So we look at this and we look at the next one here, where we've got Chrystia Freeland. We're going to just turn off that. It's just a bunch of generic music. Modular housing can be a game changer. This is why we're investing in new and innovative building technologies, blah, blah, blah. Now, this is something I've been talking about for a while now that we should be doing in Canada, but I don't think modular homes are the solution. There's a big difference. It's slight, but it's also a big difference between tiny homes and modular homes. It just seems tiny homes are like much nicer, luxury, more well thought out, and modular homes, they're just the most generic cookie cutter. They don't have any flavor and style to them. And I think if you're going to live in a tiny home, it needs to speak to you when you're in there. You need to feel at home. You not feel like you're in a tunnel box. Let's bring up a couple tiny houses right now while we're talking about it, just so you can see what I'm saying, and I'll show you the rest of this video. So here's a perfect example. If you look at something like this, like there's a lot of style to this. Here, like look at this. Like this is beautiful, and it would feel nice to live in there, even though it's a small space. Same goes for this one. Like that's not bad at all. It's small, but it's well crafted, beautiful, great design, great balance of colors, and very incredibly functional. Everything is packed into a small space and it's very functional. Modular homes do not have that at all. They're just like a box, right? So here's another one. Like this is beautiful. And let's look on the inside more importantly. So here's the inside of it, and like beautiful. It looks like a rustic cabin, West Coast design, something like that. Same thing here, fireplace, you got a loft. Right here's another one, very minimalist design. We look inside that one, like this looks very nice. It's small, but you know, gets the job done, and it makes you feel at home. Now, if we look at these modular homes here that Chrystia Freeland is doing all the photo ops for, it's just like very, very generic. And I'm not going to knock this. You know, if this is definitely would solve some problems for people for sure if they could live here. But I'm just saying, if we're going to do it, why don't we do it right? And this is fine. This will be a solution for some people, but I still think, like, why not have stylish, beautiful homes? Even though they're small, people would be excited to live there. Not only that, these homes are about twice the size. And I just think if you make them much smaller, tiny houses, you could build way more of them quicker. They would have much more style and design, and they would feel better, and you would just you would solve the problem much quicker. I think maybe a mix of the two is fine, but it's just, I don't think these modular homes are something to get overly excited about. Here it is, not only the first time Justin Trudeau's ever held a hammer, we have a video of him. I shared this on my other channel. I did another video yesterday. I didn't realize we'd be blessed with a video of him trying to hammer a nail, which is what we've got here. How many times does it take? How many hits to get a nail in, Justin? How many? By the way, I did count, it's 40. And that's when the video cuts. It might be more than 40 hits to get that nail in there. He's never used a hammer in his life. He's even got a branded hard hat. It's so pathetic. Well, he certainly hammers like a girl. Oh Lord, one house every 5 years. Now I truly know why Sophie couldn't stay any longer. That's a lot of wrist action right there. Bunch of savages in the comment section. Clear indication he has never had to actually use one of those tools other than for photos. Possibly the first nail he's ever hit. He took 40 hits to get nail done. Yeah, see, someone else counted it. Look at this video down here of a monkey hammering. You gotta love Twitter. This is so funny. Lost count at 30. Next up, we got a clip here. This is the true Justin Trudeau. This is the kind of guy he is.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you.
People in grassy narrows are suffering from mercury poisoning.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you very much for your donation tonight. I really appreciate the donation to the Liberal Party of Canada.
What a dirtbag. That is so nasty. She's complaining about mercury poisoning. I think what she's saying, the water. And this guy just, it's all about money to him. Man, what a bad human. That's the man he is. He's rotten to the core. Here he's questioned on why he decided to bypass the Alberta government and just fund the municipalities with a new housing initiative.
Wondering why your government is bypassing the province of Alberta and going directly to cities with conditions on this federal housing money. Why not involve the province more on this? The province is a lot closer with these cities relationship-wise.
One of the things that we knew was that we had to make sure municipalities could accelerate the building of housing. That's a responsibility that the federal government doesn't have direct carriage of. The municipalities, with their permits, with their zoning, with their density, are really important players in building more housing. Not just building a new project here with some federal money in it. Densification, better zoning, more rapid permitting, better...
It's a bunch of nonsense as usual.
If we remain ambitious about solving the housing challenges. If they don't want to build more housing, if they don't want to solve this housing crisis, then they don't have to take our money. But we are there to work in partnership with any province that wants to show leadership and ambition in how we're going to work together to solve the housing crisis.
He's basically calling Danielle Smith not a leader. Look at this frame.
That's what we're there for. We'll work with municipalities.
Yeah, enough Trudeau. Just jumping over to my group here. We're going to wrap this up with some funny clips here. A relative from Finland sent me this today. Boy, the carbon tax is working wonders. Cheap building for sale due to rat infestation. Nothing new here. I'm not going to read that out. Yeah, well, that's where we're going to end today's episode. Thanks for stopping by here. And let me know what you guys are thinking about that old clip of Trudeau before Harper, the thespian just like reciting his Broadway speech. It's so dumb. It's so cryptic how bad things are. It's like he literally did the exact opposite of everything he said there, everything he's ever said. He always does the opposite. It's quite shocking, but someone who just has been looking at his body language and the way he's talking so closely, and to see that it is so different, especially the fact there's no oohs in there. One thing that is for certain in that video, he had a lot of confidence. You know, maybe it was just the fact of trying to get into power, because he wasn't, but you can see some of that zest has slipped away, and now maybe it's just because he's in power now. He knows that he's invincible, and that's why he just doesn't even care. He's not even trying anymore. I think that's what it is. He doesn't have to try, so he's not going to. He has this prime minister demeanor, which is usually just pretty blank and just generic, but really he is kind of a wily, spicy guy. I'll bring it up in some future videos, but there's those old clips of him dropping F-bombs in the House of Commons, him elbowing the one of those ministers in the chest. He's a spicy guy. He's really fiery, and he's just toned it down to be prime minister. He's not fooling no one. I highly doubt he's going to respond to Doug Ford's written request there to me to talk about the carbon tax. He doesn't give a crap. He doesn't give a rat's about anyone else but himself. So really, I think we're just gonna have to wait until October 20th or 27th. They're gonna try to squeeze that back an extra week to get those golden pensions. There's gonna be riots if he does that. That's all I gotta say. Thanks for stopping by here. Be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification. I greatly appreciate all of you. We need to keep fighting for freedom, and I'll see you guys in the next one.